Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to HYNPYTOL, where we are in the final area, although still pretty early in, I think. And also, I am finding this hose building mechanic to be remarkably difficult, so we might be here a while yet. So let's get back to this puzzle that stumped me at the end of last time. We are going to need to construct a wall, at least one wall, adjacent to this hole so that we have a way of pulling ourselves in, and we're gonna have to do it in a place where we can pull ourselves to the wall in the correct location. So that's actually a lot of difficulties, right? One thing that we could do, if we can figure out a way to do this, is to put the exit in a corner. If we can get a line spreading out in two different directions from a thing that's diagonally adjacent to the hole, then that gives us a pretty easy way to pull ourselves into the correct position, right? Because we'll have two different walls to work with. Otherwise, we would need to pull ourselves up into the exit from the column to the right of where that bottom astronaut cell is. I don't know what these are, what these bits are supposed to be. Or we'd have to pull ourselves from the left or right. This isn't too bad, right? If I'm here, if we have a line in the column directly to the right of the hole, that's an easy enough hit. If we were going to, all right, let's play around with it a little bit. So we have this one that's in the middle of the area that we're in right now. Where do I want to put that? We can sweep around and just play with it a little bit here. I guess I can push it I don't know that pushing it downward is very helpful, right? We can do that, but then it's aligned with the exit, and I think that's almost certainly got to be wrong, right? We don't want that. Yeah, in order for the lines to work, we almost certainly want these things all offset from the exit to some degree. What else can we do here, though? This is not a very, we can push this over here, which gives us the ability to get into this row, which might allow us to build the horizontal line that I was talking about, right? Just right above the thing. And we have a vertical line in position to let us, if we pull you, well, hold on. Because where the vertical hose is right now, it gives us the opening to move up into the hole if we can just get the horizontal line lined up. Well, actually, so if we pull this to here, I can get up into that corner space, and if we can just move this thing up, that creates exactly the corner I was talking about. Yep, and it offers us the tools to get out of there. Okay, that really wasn't that bad. It's just one of those things where I had somehow looked past it already during the episode, and things were not getting any better. Well, this is kind of harrowing. Just hurling myself out into the dark like that. Oh, is that a useful thing to have done? Well, it lets me in here, I guess. We are continuing to find puzzle rooms, so I guess that was probably right. Okay, interesting. So we have a couple of cells that we can meld together somewhere as well. So obviously we move this, the moment the cell and our arm are both out of the middle of those two cells, they're gonna do their thing. What exactly am I trying to set up? Like if I could get the cell, let me try like, well, this isn't gonna help actually, but if we could get it around, like scoot it now over to the left somehow and then up, you know, we can make the connection there. But unfortunately, I think this traps us immediately. Yeah, we're now in a situation where we don't really have any moves. So the good news is we start with, I think, more limited options on this one than we usually do. A more limited set of things to interact with and directions from which to interact them, certainly than the last room. And that should help us get there through just like process of elimination, right? So this allows me to pull that cell down. I don't know if this is actually useful. Actually, I kind of like that. Yeah, because now I can pull myself out of the middle of here and then... Yeah, and it's not about positioning the pair of cells to get you to the exit at all. It's about positioning them to make life weird for the hose creating cells. Is that a useful thing to have done? I guess I can now... Oh, I can't actually push you back. What I can do, though, is pull you down here to break the line. Yeah, and then we can do the same thing on this side. We pull you over, break that line as well, and now I can reach the top of the area. And into the eye of the storm we go. Well, that seems pretty important. I don't like how many entrances and exits there are in this room. Okay, well, we don't have a lot of options at first. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of the, way this is broken up and put onto different screens with hard barriers between them. All right, what happens if we go down here? We apparently have entered a brave new world. There's somewhat less soma than I thought there might be. I mean, this lets us into the bottom area, but then we still definitely have a serious problem. I guess it's not that serious, actually. Right, because then I can... Oh, well, I was going to say now I can just pull myself up to that thing, but that's not how this game works. Probably want that. I mean, this is like a cool idea, but obviously it has some has some issues. And I am trapped. I have trapped myself. Okay, so yeah, we gotta figure out a way of creating a line that's gonna allow us to connect to that exit there, and it feels to me like there is... Here, let me do this. And then I'm going to pull this over here so we have easier access to it later. Actually, you know what? Let's just put it right here for the moment. I have some thoughts. All right, so we pull you down. How am I going to align these things? Obviously, if I can just make a... Okay, I have a thought. If I can just make a line across the row directly above the gap here, then we can use that. The row directly above the row that the exit is in, I mean. Then we can use that to get ourselves out of here. But unfortunately... I'm not really sure what my plan was with that move. I thought I was going to be able to get over into that rightmost area. Because, like, we can get up here, and then up here we can get into this column. No, this is not really very helpful either. I feel like that's got to be the answer, though, right? The answer has got to be we create a wall across the row above the row that has the exit in it, and then we can pull ourselves up into that line from basically anywhere. It's just a matter of getting two of these guys into that row. And I was thinking that if I was in this area here, like if I'm here and I can pull one of them up, that sets them up in the appropriate row. But I don't actually have a good plan for how I would do that. I mean, sadly, this doesn't do anything. Now I'm just trapped. We have a couple of different ways to approach getting down there. Several different sets of moves we could make with the resources that we have up here. So we have to figure out which of those makes the most sense to do. Do we get anything in particular out of any of them? And I think the answer is no. All we really need is one of these cells to accompany us into the bottom area, and we can make that happen no matter how we set the top up. But then once it's down there, how do we line it up in the right spot? Well, let's say we do this over here this time. Trying to be very deliberate. So I can pull you into a row that is... I mean, this row does also work, right? If I set them up in the row below the row with the exit in it, that would also work. And it is a thing that theoretically I can do. Except that with this thing right here, I can't actually move down anymore. And this is not a valuable column for this, or a valuable row for this to be in. The question is just how would we get the other cell into an interactable place here. If I could disconnect this somehow while remaining here, it sure would be useful. It is very difficult for us to use the third cell, the third one from the top, in any way other than pulling it into this area on the left here, just keeping it in the row that it's currently in, which is right above the exit row. So that kind of suggests, you know, kind of suggests a strategy. The problem is I just can't figure out how to get one of these other things into a position to back it up, to provide the other end of the line. If we push... I don't believe there is a way to get down into the bottom area that isn't reliant on us having forced these two things in the upper area into the same row, or into the same column. So we're going to form a connection no matter what. I mean, I guess that doesn't matter so much. But I don't think I can get down until we've done it. And if I do anything to disrupt this line, then I can no longer get down to the bottom. So probably this much is right, at least. Now we have a lot of ways to access this area, but I'm not really sure what I want to do here. We can move this thing up or down. We can pull it to the side. If I pull it to here and then I do that... Okay, this allows me to set up an appropriate appropriate row cover. And then we just get to here and there it is. Okay. The key was I needed to not disconnect the top part until I had gone down to the bottom and set up the cell in the bottom. Okay, and we are being told where the game thinks we ought to go next. Certainly don't want to go up here, but at this point, now that the hose has been pulled upward, we can use it to access the corner. And just dig our hands into this neuromodulator, which sounds like an important part of the brain, probably. So I'm no ichthyologist, I couldn't tell you. So that shape is 4 cells tall. If we slide it down right now, it still won't get out of the way. It'll still be blocking the entrance to or the exit, I suppose. So I also need to, like, if I can get up here. Okay, now I could do it. Except I find myself in a position that I can't get out of anymore, right? Like, So I need to disconnect this line somehow and then hit that thing from the top. Which is itself not a trivial task, right? Because, like, you can pull yourself over to here, but then attempting to go upward closes the area around the north side switch on this thing. And what is this cell for? That's not really what I wanted to do, although actually, no, probably not. Yeah, being over here is not super helpful, actually. Once I'm down there, it becomes very difficult to get out. But, like, what else could I do? There aren't a lot of stopping places. If we move that square macrophage upward, there's no way to get it back down. Because the switch on the top will only have one blank space around it, which is not enough for me to actually approach it and pull on it. So we probably have to be pretty careful not to do that. That seems important. But gosh, how else are we going to affect this puzzle? I could just move the, I guess I'm being a little silly here and trying to, like, I'm fixating on how we're going to move the vertical piece downward. Because moving the vertical piece upward suits our tasks just as well, doesn't it? And if that's true, if all I'm trying to do is move it upward, then doing this doesn't hurt anything. And in fact, well, I was going to say it could give us access to some more approaches, but I guess that's not actually true. Yeah, I'm not sure if this square macrophage is useful at all to us, honestly. I'm a little embarrassed to have run out of steam so quickly, but gosh, I sure have. So we can pull ourselves over to here. From here, we can manipulate things a little bit. But I can't ever move right, or else I would get immediately stuck. And I can't move left because I can't grab onto anything to the left because the cell's in the way. I need a way to mess with the two cells that are forming the left part of the verticality chain, but I don't see how I ever would. I can't really get into column with either of them. I could get into the row of that one, but only by putting myself in a corner from which I can never escape. So if all that stuff's off the menu, what is on the menu? We can pull that rightmost piece out of alignment, but that's the only one that we can currently affect. Even if we go up here and get ourselves... Well, even if I was somehow able to get myself on the left side of the macrophage here, I still wouldn't actually be in alignment to pull the wall cells up. Does it help at all? Well, never mind. I can't. I was going to say, does it help at all to move that cell over to the right a little bit? But I actually can't do it because I can't get into this area. This is a big downside of There's a big downside of the that upper macrophage getting into that position, is that it becomes no longer possible to get down off of the roof in anywhere except for the top left corner, which is not a terribly useful column to be in, frankly. I guess I can move it down. Do I think this is a valuable thing to do at all? Looks like we could pull you down and then get over to here. And I guess the value of this is that it does let me move the cell aside. What do I do with that? Like, I can put the cell to here. And I guess one thing that lets me do is, I was going to say disconnect these two and leave the, by pushing them both upward, I could leave the rightmost hose generating cell in a row where it doesn't generate anything, which would seem useful-ish. So, okay, I can get into a position where we can once again push this even further down. And then this lets me push this down, but not enough to matter. Unfortunately, if I can't break that southern line, this does not end up being a very useful place to be. I'm not convinced that moving this thing down is right. It doesn't feel super great. But it does seem like it's like it hasn't gotten it. Pardon me. It hasn't gotten any easier to break the hoses here, right? All right. Let me start again. Let me think about some things here. Well, that's not right. That puts me in a very trapped sort of position. If I do this, I can't dislodge this. Oh, I can. But I can't get back from here anyway. Gosh, I'm having such a hard time deciding what I think is the appropriate move here. If I move the cell down into the corner first, and I've already kind of lost track of how I managed to push this thing down in the first place. What did I do? Right, I pulled myself across here. Okay. So we could do this, move the cell to the side, push this all the way down to the bottom. Or we could keep the cell in place, come up here and push this down to a position where it leaves an interesting gap. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like there's anything to do with the gap. It lets me get flush with the, lets me get into the same row as the entrance. But I don't know if I think that's valuable. Like, one advantage of moving the cell out of the way before bringing this down here is that now we have a way of stopping in this column, which does give us some extra utility. You know, the ability to reach left or right from here gives us better access to some corners. Although, again, I'm not really sure what my whole plan around that would be. I think a lot comes down to what we do with this cell. What do we do now? I can go displace this, and it's blocked, so then see, the thing is, right now, this push doesn't do anything because of the cell. The macrophage will not eat a healthy cell. Where else can I end myself up? Oh, well, sorry. That gives you the ability to push this all the way to the bottom, though. Which is a really big deal. Because now I can pull myself to here and then exit the puzzle. Yep, I was so concerned with continuing to get the square macrophage out of the way that I failed to realize that we were good. It was the other macrophage that needed to be moved. A plan I had already thought of. Okay, so we have to get, what we actually have to do here is get stuff out of the way. That's an interesting change of pace. So I can push you over to here. Grab this thing out of the way. And then be permanently stuck in this corner for all of forever. How do I do this? If I start by pulling you up, I could at least... Yeah, I can at least make some different moves. Nope, but this ends up as a trap as well. Now I'm in a position where all I have is... Yeah. This game's puzzles are, you know, they're not trivial. That is for sure. Well, that's not. Obviously, that has let's describe it as low utility. All right, so pull you out to here. What if I go? I do this so I can grab on, so I can go to the right. And get you out like this. But then I have to do something with you. Or else this has me permanently stuck, right? Okay, I can pull you up as well. This is still trapped. It's closer though. How do I keep filling the area up here with these cells while not getting myself trapped? That's like the really difficult question. I think I probably need to get more stuff moved over to the right side. Because it's certainly very useful as just like a depot, right? It's a place to stick the stuff I'm tired of looking at. We're gonna have to deliver a few cells over there, I think. Ugh. All right. Challenging puzzles. Not making a lot of progress. But I thought that might be the case. So that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we are going to continue reattaching O2 hoses to weird little astronauts that are probably supposed to represent something about the human brain, but I have no idea what it could possibly be. So come back next time for that, and we'll see you then.